would like to introduce you to some work by Lalla Essaydi. What is particular about her work is she uses photography where she sets mostly women into her native Moroccan environment. And by doing so, she actually evokes new ways of looking at society and discrepancies. I think it's very interesting how one sees the architectural pattern and how she then has taken the pattern and applied it to her attire on the fabric, and also actually on the ottoman, the furniture and the flooring even. And as you can see, actually also the shoes. For me, the pattern is something very cultural, and I'm actually asking myself, for example, your society or your culture actually kind of like takes your breath, takes your breath away. It's so omnipresent.
On the surface, it looks like a beautiful image, but when you really think about it, it's that woman is completely covered by this decorative element, which is very pretty to look at. But what is it doing to the woman? Is she losing her own identity in the process, or is she just a surface to be covered?
Yeah.
See, and I feel it's very interesting how also she takes on this position where she's lying there. People are looking at her as an object of desire.
It's really just presenting her, and almost like as an object and not as a woman anymore.
But she's also, for me, it's more than just an object. For me, just the fact that there's this writing means there's something has to be read. And it goes beyond just surface beautification.
It's interesting that you say that, because I've heard that actually calligraphy was an art form that only men were allowed to execute. In this case, it's actually traditionally, yes.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's actually very interesting that the typically male art form is all of a sudden applied to actually a woman in a very female technique. Actually, she's using the henna. And by that, she's actually redefining what is really typically male and what is typically female.
And henna is something that's not permanent. With time, it goes away.
It fades. It's
so,
like memory actually as well, that slowly fade out.
So are these stories, does she want this to happen? Does she want the story to be lost over time?
Yeah.
As opposed to something permanent?
Yeah.
So there are so many levels of reading this, and I think the artist is very aware of all of this.
Very interesting. Shall we look at the other work by her?